In a flash, everyone was up on top, and oh, isn't it beautiful, they cried. What a marvelous feeling. Goodbye, sharks. Oh boy, this is the way to travel. Miss Spider, who was literally squealing with excitement, grabbed the centipede by the waist, and the two of them started dancing around and around the peach stem together. The earthworm stood up on his tail and did sort of a wiggle of joy all by himself. The old green grasshopper kept hopping higher and higher and higher in the air. The ladybug rushed over and shook James warmly by the hand. The glowworm, who at best of times was a very shy and silent creature, sat glowing with pleasure near the tunnel entrance. Even the silkworm, looking white and thin, completely exhausted, came up creeping out of the tunnel to watch the miraculous ascent. Up they went, and soon they were as high as the top of a church steeple above the ocean. I'm a bit worried about the peach, James said to the others as soon as all the dancing and shouting had stopped. I wonder how much damage those sharks have done to it underneath, and it's quite impossible to tell from up here. Why don't I go over the side and make an inspection, Miss Spider said. It'll be no trouble at all, I assure you. And without waiting for an answer, she quietly produced a length of silk thread and attached the end of it to the peach stem. I'll be back in a jiffy, she said, and then she walked calmly over the edge of the peach and jumped off, paying out the thread behind her as she fell. The others crowded anxiously around the place where she had gone over. Wouldn't it be dreadful if the thread broke? The ladybug said. There was a rather long silence. Are you all right, Miss Spider? Shouted the old green grasshopper. Yes, thank you, her voice answered from far below. I'm coming up now. And she came up, climbing foot over foot up the silk thread, and at the same time tucking the thread back cleverly into her body as she climbed past it. Is it awful? They asked her. Is it all eaten away? Are there great holes in it everywhere? Miss Spider clambered back onto the deck with a pleased but also rather puzzled look about her face. You won't believe this, she said, but actually there's hardly any damage down there at all. The peach is almost untouched, and there's just a few tiny pieces out of it here and there, but nothing more. You must be mistaken, James told her. Of course she's mistaken, the centipede said. I promise you I'm not, said the spider. But there were hundreds of sharks around it. They turned the water into froth. We saw the great mouths opening and shutting. I don't care what you saw, said the spider, answered. They certainly didn't do much damage to the peach. Then why did we start sinking? Asked the centipede. Perhaps we didn't start sinking, said the old grasshopper. Perhaps we were all frightened that we simply imagined it. This, in point of fact, was closer to the truth than any of them knew. A shark, you see, has extremely sharp nose, and its mouth is set very awkwardly underneath its face, a long way back. This makes it more or less impossible for it to get its teeth into the vast, smooth, curving surface such as the side of a peach. Even if the creature turns on its back, it still can't do it, because the nose always gets in the way. If you have ever seen a small dog trying to get its teeth into an enormous ball, then you will be able to imagine roughly how it is with the shark and the peach." "It must have been some kind of magic," the ladybug said. "The holes must have healed by themselves." "Oh, look, the ship below us. There's a ship below us," said James. Everyone rushed to the side and peered over. None of them had ever seen a ship before. "It looks like a big one. It's got 3 funnels. You can even see people on the deck. Let's wave to them. Do you think that they can see us?" Neither James nor any of the others knew it, but the ship was now passing beneath them. It was actually the Queen Mary sailing out of the English Channel on her way to America. And now on the bridge of the Queen Mary, the astonished captain was standing with a group of his officers, all of them gaping at the great round ball hovering overhead. "I don't like it," the captain said. "Nor do I," said the first officer. "Do you think it's following us?" asked the second officer. "I tell you I don't like it," muttered the captain. "It could be dangerous," the first officer said. "That's it," cried the captain. "It's a secret weapon. Holy cats! Send a message to the Queen at once. The country must be warned. and give me my telescope." The first officer handed the telescope to the captain, and the captain put it to his eye. "The birds are everywhere," he cried. "The whole sky is teeming with birds. What in the world are they all doing? And wait a second, there are people on it. I can see them moving. Do I have this darn thing focused right? It looks like a little boy in short trousers. Yes, I distinctly see a boy in short trousers standing up there. There's a sort of giant ladybug." "Now, just a minute, Captain," the first officer said. "And a colossal green grasshopper." "Captain," the first officer said sharply. "Captain, please." "And a mammoth spider. Oh dear, he's been in the whiskey again," whispered the second officer. "And a simply enormous centipede," screamed the captain. "Call the ship's doctor," the first officer said. "Our captain is not well." A moment later, the great round ball disappeared into the clouds, and the people on the ship never saw it again.